Good morning, Alpha Beta Lab fans. Hopefully, we're going to have a bunch more of you in with us today. Hope everyone is doing well. I've got a bit of a treat for us today. Alex is off looking at an apartment or a house or something this morning. He messaged me this morning. So I have the pleasure and the delight to have Mr. Stephen Vickers with us. Hello, Stephen.
Morning. Hello, everyone.
How you doing? How you doing, mate? You good?
You can call me Alex today if you like.
Great to have you with us, mate. How you doing?
Yeah, I'm good, thanks. Just going through the charts now.
Yeah.
Some of the pairs are a bit sort of whereas I'd normally trade them sort of non-options after the Canadian dollar fiasco yesterday. So I'm staying out of those, I think, for now.
Just a little bit.
Yeah, so
we've got Daniel with us. Daniel's with us this morning. Good to see you, Daniel, my friend.
Daniel.
How are you?
The gold expert.
You are well. The gold expert indeed. Yeah, great to have you with us, Daniel. Hopefully we'll have some more people join us. At the moment we've just got yourself, Daniel, I think, but hopefully we will have more people jumping in with us very soon. So yeah, Stephen, let's have a quick look. First of all, let's just see what we've got happening today. We have just literally had some retail sales news coming in for Spain, which is a lot lower than they were anticipating. So it might be something to have a look at EU this morning, or one of the Euro pairs. We'll take a look at that in a second.
You know what? I forgot to check the news this morning, so it's a good job you said.
Yeah, exactly. Let's.
I always forget.
Let's stick some music on as well. Hang on. Let's get some. There we go. So we've got some music going.
You can play whatever music you like this morning, because Alex.
I know exactly. Alex isn't here, so I can do what I want. Exactly, I can do what I want. So yeah, so we've got some speeches and bits and pieces, but pretty much everything is holding off until we have the CPI coming out later on this afternoon for the dollar. Sorry,
half
we have
12.
got also the Bank of Canada interest rate later on as well, at 1:45 GMT.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of news coming out. Then leads into tomorrow to jobless claims and PPI. And then on Friday, we then have the GDP for the pound, trade balance, and so on and so on and so on. So there's still plenty of news to move things around a little bit, but that's where we are right now. If we look at the Forex strength pairs, we can see the Japanese yen at the moment is looking terribly weak. We've got all of these guys clustered up at the moment, almost like looks like it's going to be a coiled spring ready to explode. But we've got the yen looking very, very weak, and we've got the Swiss franc getting a bit of strength right now, along with the dollar. How did yesterday close? Well, yesterday we had that Japanese yen weakness. We also had Swiss franc weakness, so we're starting to see that now pull back from that divergence. And we've got the euro and the pound showing strength yesterday. So potentially Euro JPY, GBP JPY might be trade opportunities for us this morning and into the rest of the day. Forex heat map very quickly. Yeah, you can see there the yen right now looking very, very weak, continuing that weakness. The Canadian dollar showing a little bit of weakness, not massively, but a little bit. And the Swiss franc showing a lot of strength there after being quite weak yesterday. So let's go and have a look at the charts. If we have a look at, first of all, let's look at Euro JPY. Well, there we go. That's on the 1 minute. Take it to the 15 minute. Yeah, it is pumping. It is pumping something strong right now. So we have come back into this area that I marked out previously, but we've gone through that a few times now. So I think that's probably going to be less relevant for us. And I say that, and then it'll probably react from it. But let's see, what are we looking like? We are seeing a bit of a move up. But if we go back on our 4 hour, what can we see further back? Well, we can see this engulfing here. I've been messing around with my settings. 4 hour, there we go. So we've got this engulfing here, which is a potential reaction area. We can also see, if we expand it out, it maybe comes to here. So there's possibly a reaction zone in here, which we might be aiming for, and that would actually take us to the ATR area as well. So must be Abe shopping. Who's shopping? Who's shopping, Daniel?
Alex
but yeah, so
Abe.
maybe Abe's in Japan right now, Daniel. If Alex has gone to look at an apartment in Japan, then I'm going to have words with him, because I don't expect him to then suddenly be back for tomorrow.
That's why the yen's pumping then.
Yeah, exactly.
No,
yeah,
Alex
exactly. Alex and Abe are spending their pounds over there. So we've seen this kind of this massive pump up on Euro JPY, this one here, and you can see that it just flipped here on the EMAs, and it's kind of got this sudden turn even on the 200, which you don't see very often, but because of this massive pump up, it's kept on going. Now, is that just being purely driven by euro strength? Possibly. But generally the yen has been quite strong lately, and there's a general consensus that the yen is going to continue to be strong. So this one might be one to look out for. We've opened up, possibly, maybe if it comes up here, then maybe looking for sells back down. That might be an opportunity, but obviously at the moment we're in a bullish trend, so just be one to be careful of. But we are certainly coming into an area where we had a previous head and shoulders coming down and sold off, so that might be one to look out for. If we go to GU, just have a quick look at these popular pairs that everyone likes to look at. Well, yesterday didn't really do too much. I mean, it's still, it's broken out of this range that we had here, pulled out here, and then it's pushed up here on the 1 hour. Certainly looks at the moment like we might see some more bullish momentum coming up. If we take a look at EU hasn't broken past this level here that it's done this morning, but again, kind of ranged for a while since Friday. We've broken up higher. We take that out to the daily, we've still potentially got further room to go up, because we've broken past this area now as well. So we've still got more momentum, I would say, to the upside. And it feels to me, I don't know what you think, Stephen, but it does feel as though the words and potential actions from Mr. Trump are, well, frankly, sinking the dollar is the only way to probably describe it right now.
Well, I can't complain. He got me a couple of good 2-hour wins on the Canadian dollar trade yesterday. So,
oh well, there you go.
I happened to be in 2 CAD-based pairs when he was announcing that. It went straight to profits.
Yeah, exactly. So
Well,
yeah,
where-
the EU
where have
may
they
well
gone?
apply tariffs. Just non-consumables for now, but you never know. Yeah, exactly, Daniel. So I mean, the trade battles are going to no doubt intensify, and it doesn't look like Mr. Trump and his administration are in any mood for backing down at the moment. So we'll see how that one plays out. But certainly, the focus seems to be primarily on Canada. The EU aren't necessarily pulled into the fight just yet. I think that's possibly held up because of the conversations with a lot of EU partners around Ukraine. But obviously, certainly verbally, Trump has been talking about tariffs and everything else. So we'll see how that one plays out.
If you want to bring up my screen, I can show you the USD CAD trade, which admittedly is a bit of a fluky win. There you go. That was yesterday.
Oh, very nice. Very nice.
And I had 2 CAD-based pairs. So
what was your decision to get in on that one?
We got the Asian session going into the London session. Normally I wait for a break above the Asian session and then pull back. But there's levels here. I'm experimenting on a smaller account of taking the EMA rejections. So I had an EME, the 200 there rejection, entry there, stop loss below. It didn't hit stop loss, it got kicked in later on. And then when I went back to the chart, it reached my target, which was this level here.
So where did you get in then? Because your position.
You know what? I'm not too sure. That shows where it went stop loss, but it didn't. So it must have been further along somewhere. I don't know where.
I was going to say because it looks like it hit your stop loss, so that's why I was curious.
No, I set them at about just before 8 o'clock in the morning, so it would have been set somewhere around about here. So yeah, that's all. Never always a true reflection of the MT5 charts.
Yeah,
so when you go to MT5,
absolutely.
it would be slightly different, but
yeah.
Just going through pairs now.
Do you want to pull up the Dixie actually? Because we're talking about EU and GU. Let's just have a look at what the Dixie's doing. So,
it's showing as a nice downtrend. 15 minute, all of mine are 15 minutes normally.
Could you just pull up the daily for us, just to have a look at what the daily looks like? So I mean, look at that. The daily has
big downtrend.
EMA's crossing. Yeah, that you see, I did think that we were going to have around about the beginning of November. I think it was. There was a little level of support.
Are we heading this low?
It looks like it, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
It certainly looks like it, because
that level there as well.
There is that level there where the EMA's previously crossed, and I think
we're in that zone now. Actually, where this one here as well.
Yeah, it looks like we've broken past that one though. Just looking at that on the daily on my chart.
Could be a liquidity sweep and then back up, but who knows at the moment.
Yeah, it does. It does look like it's pushing further down. So, I mean, if you look at the EMAs, just look how those guys are pushing down. That's some significant momentum coming. I think the general consensus is that.
In saying that, though, Alex would like. I know he'd like it further down. It's pushed away from the 200. He might be trading back.
Yeah, potentially. Reverse to mean. I just think there's too much momentum in it, though.
That seems to
right now. I just think there's too much weight pushing down on the dollar.
Yeah, that's the problem with GU and EU at the moment as well. But then when you look at USD CAD, that's going up, which normally it should be following the dollar, but it's following the CAD.
Yeah.
So it's a bit annoying.
Exactly.
Yeah. Whereas these the pound and the euro seem to be going strong. As well as the dollar weakening. Sort of both, so.
Let's have a look. Daniel saying, study wicked gold setup. You had it clean on USD CAD there. Is a killer at such situations.
USD CAD.
He's saying on the 8:30 and 8:45 candle on USD CAD.
What time frame, Daniel?
I think he's talking about the 15-minute.
Oh, good. I'm on the 15-minute. Most of mine are 15-minute. 8:30.
I guess he's talking about yesterday. Oh, 8:30 US. He's talking about.
Oh, so +5, so 1:30. Oh yeah, around about here. He means here where we got in.
Yeah.
Sorry, Daniel.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a couple of CAD pairs I was in. I can quickly show my morning routine if you like, whilst I've got my screen on. Show you exactly what I do.
Yeah, go for it.
If you want 5 minutes of boredom.
Please do.
Yeah.
No.
First thing in the morning, about 7:45 UK time. Bring up the charts. Yeah, you can see these, can't you? I have these ones always here, and then I have these watching ones. And then what I'll do, I'll just flick through each pair. And then anyone's...
When you say you're watching one, Stephen, how do you determine what you're watching?
That's what I'm about to say, Mike.
Sorry.
Sorry. I will flick through all these pairs here. You see these little yellow dots I put on. I've drawn this little thing here. So to me, that's going down. So I would be looking potentially for a break below the Asian low and a continuation down to the previous day low on that pair there. That's Aussie dollar. So I highlight that yellow, and then I'll go through all the pairs, see if nothing much there, nothing much on gold. So it only takes a minute to scan through more. You can see pound CAD normally would be a good candidate. In fact, I was in it on Tuesday on the main account, and as you can see, it came out the Asian session into London, pulled back to my stop loss there, and I made a tiny profit. It's the same though, because if I'd kept it into New York session, it would have gone all the way up there, but I don't hold into the New York session normally. Yeah, so I flick through it.
Is that because you're working, so you can't keep an eye on it?
With the 15-minute trades, if we break out to London, I want them to be acting quick. You know, if I'm already in the trade, I'll keep it open and pull stops and stuff, protect the account.
Gotcha.
And then we'll just see. But I'm not waiting for the New York session to enter and stuff. This is my time zone up until about 11:30, and then I'm done for the day on these ones, because I don't want to be staring at charts all day. Not these ones anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I just quickly flick through. You can see an uptrend, so I've drawn a yellow line on 15-minute. So normally I'd be looking at that one for a breakout like that. So I've highlighted that one. Obviously, I think I've missed that one now. It's gone way too far. Nothing there. It's flat. So it takes seconds. Flat, messy, good trend. So we'd be looking for a breakout above, but then we've got these levels here, so that's a no-no as well. But we might try the new system of an EMA rejection, which gives me more scope. So what I'll do, highlight them all. You see the yellow dots. I won't go through them all, but then once I've got them all, I will move them from the watching to the soon category. Just like this. Doesn't take long.
And so what you're looking for something that's trending. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
There's no point me jumping and ranging things on the M15 session breakouts, for me anyway. So then I've got my pairs, so then I can shrink the watching down. And then I've only got these pairs now to flick through during the day. And then I can narrow them down and decide to take trades or not. See, that would normally be a good trade if it wasn't Canadian dollar. London session, pulling out the Asian session. Stop loss below. See that right? It's big enough. Target previous high. 3.1 R. That would normally be a good trade, and it may well.
So what's holding you back on taking that one when it goes?
Because the Canadian pump yesterday. Canadian pump Trump. So to me, it's a bit unsure now, and it was 50% tariffs, now it's 25% tariffs. So that would normally be good, and it has moved a bit far away for my liking as well. You know, it's quite a distance, isn't it? Because it's pulled back this much now. They could carry on pulling back down to a previous week low or any of these levels. So
yeah, absolutely.
It's just not really worth a risk. I've got all of these ones to choose from today, so plenty of possibilities.
You got plenty to keep you busy.
Yes, keep me out of this team.
Do you take any other considerations into play? For example, things like ATR, or do you consider, like, for example, you've got the Aussie New Zealand dollar in there. Would you discount that based on the fact that Aussie New Zealand dollar, I think you've got further down on your list.
Aussie New Zealand.
So if you've got Aussie New Zealand, obviously that's a pair where going into London, they're pretty much shut down. Obviously, other parts of the world are going to be trading it, but they would probably have higher volume and bigger opportunities during the Asia session rather than the London or New York.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly. So would you still consider those, or would you just?
Yeah, I've still got up my shortlist here because we've got a general downtrend here on 15.
Yeah,
as you can see, broke low. Whatever day that was, Monday, came into Tuesday, broke low, not till the New York session, and then on to Wednesday now. It's tempting to break low, but not really much, is it? And it's at the previous month low levels as well. So if it broke a bit more and then pulled back, it could have got me in to take me down to the previous day low. We couldn't go much lower because of all these levels here.
Yeah.
So yeah, it might just be a slower trade, but that's one on my watch list that I would consider if we'd had a better pullback there.
So it wouldn't bother you that it was what I mean by, you know, the type of asset that it is. So whether it might have a small ATR or it might have, you know, activity when you're asleep or something like that.
Not a lot. No, you just trade what you see, isn't it? So I look at it and think, not today. Move on to the next one. Obviously, things like the Aussie dollar have a bit more activity, potentially. So I've got that as a downtrend. So, and a break and a pullback for continuation, but it's very messy over to the side there. Yeah. So it's not quite the clean price action I'd like on that one either.
Yeah.
So
I feel as though we've been lacking any kind of clear price action lately. Everything going on around the world.
Previous day low could go either way, couldn't it, from there? So
and it just feels like that's across the board at the moment.
It does.
Don't you think? It's great to have volatility, but it makes it a lot harder to read the charts and get an understanding as to what's going on, because fundamentals are being thrown all over the place, and you know the markets are responding according to those, right? So you know, I genuinely I've started to at least build out the concept of doing a Trump indicator that basically that scrapes Twitter and scrapes Truth Social and all that sort of stuff, and basically pops up on your TradingView chart and says Trump has tweeted, or you know,
Trump
has
tweeted. You've just won 2 Canadian dollar trades, Steve.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't panic when I check my charts and there's nothing there, and I think my stop loss has been hit.
exactly. So I'm working on that at the moment. So we'll see if I can get that fixed and work in at some point. But I mean, if you were to pick a pair today, what would you be looking at?
Well, I need to go through these again. This is my shortlist. So, but there's nothing really jumped out to me today that I'd want to trade. Not on my main account. On the smaller play account, that was just me showing, wasn't it? I might take a few more examples of the EMA rejections. But looking through these today, I can't see anything I want to enter. To be honest,
the DAX doesn't look too bad right now, actually.
Yeah, I'm unsure on indices on my setup and stuff, so it would only be on the smaller accounts if I was to do an industry one. I've marked it off as a general downtrend here, but indices can be a bit wild, can't they? So we need that down to the previous day low. That would be quite a nice setup, wouldn't it? And then you got target these lows down there. So yeah, that would be quite a good one. So we might float that to the top of my watch list, and then we'd look for something like that.
Yeah,
down to there. Normally we'd like to get a 2R minimum value. It doesn't mean we take 2R on the trade, but we want the space to have a 2R trade. And
what's your EMAs? Because you've got 4 EMAs on your chart, have you? Am I reading that right?
Yeah, 20, 50, 100 and 200.
100 and 200. Okay, got you. So right now we're bouncing off the 100.
Just this default one here, 20, 50, 100, 200. My charts were cleaner before I put those on. They were a bit nicer.
Alex has influenced you as well.
Bad influence, Alex, yes. But my normal setup doesn't worry about the EMAs.
In the wild, that is my worry, is that it would generate too many notifications. But as long as you configure it, I've already given that some thought. Is you need to filter out. You just need to use keywords. So you need to just make sure that it's filtering with keywords or something. Although knowing Trump, he could frankly move the market just by suddenly tweeting about God knows what. So you might be right. We'll have to think about that.
I'll tell you what, Mike, the risk management event yesterday was good. Did you watch that?
I caught bits of it. I caught bits of it. I know we've had a ton load of new members joining us at Alpha Beta Lab, which is amazing to see.
Over 300 now.
Well over 300 people, and more and more people join us all the time, which is just is
most
brilliant.
of the people from the event yesterday, but there's some interesting things on there. I liked
there are.
Jonathan's take on swing trading. In fact, I can show you what I was doing at 1 o'clock last night if you want.
1 o'clock last night, Stephen.
Yeah, here we go. When I was supposed to be going to bed. This is Jonathan's fault, because I've been looking for some sort of swing setup, on the daily, once a day. I've got a spare account. I thought, I'll just have a quick look. It's like 12:15 last night. It was like 1 o'clock in the morning by the time I went to bed. So it's his fault. So I was just, if you watch the event, he was basically doing the direction on the daily there, and then a pullback entries, and then multiple entries as it goes down and breaks key levels. So I was just marking some of those up, just out of interest. So that's DXY, and then this is my short list. So I went through every single pair last night at 1 o'clock in the morning, and came up with this short list.
Wow.
So we got euro dollar there. Obviously, we had this big downtrend, and his example was breakout pullback entry there, and then as it broke levels, he put another entry in. So he wouldn't enter his full lot on one. Another entry like that. So I was just having a look really, and I found that quite interesting because I'm looking for a swing setup.
Jonathan's swing trades are really, really great setups when he catches them.
It was interesting.
He's had.
It really was,
I can't remember which one he's holding lately. Was it? There's one that he's been telling us about in the chat.
I marked up one of the ones he was in, but I can't remember what it was. It was a CAD one, wasn't it?
I think it was CAD, New Zealand CAD. That's what it was. New Zealand CAD. And he caught something like 500 pips.
Yeah, once he's in, isn't he, with some good. Good
so
values.
no, he was.
We got a gold one for Daniel.
He was.
If Daniel's watching, we got a gold daily one. So
there you go. That's an interesting one.
Pull back to this zone here. That's a bit dark, actually, isn't it? To make that a bit lighter. There you go. So gold.
Let's see.
Let's see what
we'll see what Gold Master thinks of it.
Yeah. This is just my short
Gold
list.
Master agrees.
This one I've actually set. I think I've set a few of them up just to experiment a bit. Downtrend. Pull back to this level. It's easy if you're drawing it. Down, up, pull back to the level. Continuation back to this level, and then we'll just see. I am blatantly copying Jonathan. I can't lie. But
no, I mean, you know what? This was the whole point of yesterday's event, was to give people actionable stuff that they can go away and use and check themselves.
It was really interesting because I've been looking for a swing strategy for weeks now. I've had my own, and I'm on phase 2 on my swing strategy, but I was looking for something different, so we're going to experiment a bit with that.
Nice, excellent.
Yeah, and then
curious who else.
Did you? Yeah, Soul was good. You made me think.
I didn't manage to catch as much of it as I wanted to because I was so busy. Trying to keep an eye on the community. But B, I was because it was the first day that I haven't been streaming in probably a month, I think, or even more, in like a month, almost a month and a half. So it was the first day during the week where I wasn't on any live streams, and I was like, right, okay, I now actually have to really get some work done, because when I'm streaming, I don't have time to really do much else because my day gets broken up. So
I was working from home.
I was working from home. You were trading from home. So yeah, but no, I was basically working on web design and all sorts of other bits and pieces, but I was dipping in and out of the live stream because I'd suddenly get a flurry of notifications of new members joining Alpha Beta Lab, and my phone just went nuts. I've actually had to turn the notifications off from the Circle app. It was literally, my phone just wouldn't stop. So I was
Every
dipping
time
in and
Alex
dipping out.
mentioned it, it went up by another 100 or whatever.
Exactly. So yeah, but I thought him and Anastasia did a great job of hosting it. And
She was great, wasn't she?
you had a great lineup of speakers.
One of my key takeaways was Sol with his trade management, where he will close partial losses. I've never done that. Never really thought about doing that before. That was inspiring. So a lot of my trades, like if we're in drawdown by 50%, you just leave them on, hope they turn around. Whereas he was at 50%, he was closing half a trade, which reduced your risk. And so if it hits your stop loss, then you've only lost 0.75 of your R instead of a 1R.
Yeah.
And then if it comes back from near your stop loss, you can put that quarter R that you've saved back on to come back down. That was really inspiring, because I've never really heard of that. Well, I have, but it's not something I've ever considered.
Yeah.
So I'll be looking at that for sure.
I think the great thing was that you had a variety of techniques and styles and approaches to trading that appeal to everyone. It was interesting how most people were more interested in the live trading. So most people are looking for live trading ideas and things like that. But there was a core viewership that stuck around and really wanted to get maximum out of it. So yeah, it's a fine balance with these kind of channels and these kind of events, because on the one hand, most people want something now, right? I don't think it's necessarily relevant.
Just wanting a new account. They kept spamming the chat. What's the code? What's the code? That's like a bonus. Shouldn't be there for that.
Exactly.
Wrong mindset straight away.
So,
Rich
unfortunately,
did a mindset as well. Rich
bless him. He spent a lot of time planning his. So
I did my homework. If I can show it, there it is.
Very nice, very nice.
So Rich brought this up, and he made us all do our homework, fill out our own numbers 1 to 10 of how we judge ourselves, and then he said, whatever your lowest score is, mine is fundamental analysis by the looks of it. Focus on that one, get that one score up, and then move on to your next lowest score, which would be backwards and forwards testing for me, number 6. Because I don't do a lot of back testing. I do back testing to test an idea, a concept, but then I'll go trade it forwards. So once I get an idea, like the session break, I'll back test, see if it's got legs. It doesn't have to be a profitable one on a back test, just has to not blow account straight away, and then I'll forward test. So that's an area for me. Executing trader was one of my lower ones as well. Rich described it a lot better, and he went through all these because obviously he's the performance coach, isn't he? I did realize executing trader is a bit low for me, because I will look at the charts and not enter a trade, even though it meets my criteria. So that's definitely an area for me to work on as well. So he was good.
Nice.
But he came on when I was doing my phone calls for Yuck. So I had to pause him and go back and watch him afterwards. But I did.
Yeah, exactly.
I was a good boy and did my homework there. Wasn't sure what to put in the student section.
Well, I'd be curious, the rest of you guys who are watching us live, tell us, what did you think? Those of you who were able to tune in, what did you think of the event yesterday?
Did you do your homework?
Yeah, did you do your homework? But also, what did you think of the event? There was a lot of time, a lot of effort, a lot of energy put into producing the content, producing the kind of the concepts behind it as well. It's obviously a lot of energy and effort gone into it, and really just purely to benefit and provide education and ideas to traders.
Henry
the idea
there.
of
I saw Henry there.
Yeah,
he's always there.
How long did Henry? When do you sleep, my man? Because Henry's based out in where are you? You're based in Queensland? No, I'm trying to remember where Henry's based, but Brisbane.
Yeah.
I think Henry's in Brisbane.
Australia somewhere.
Yeah. Henry, I mean, I don't know when you sleep, my man. Really, I don't.
I've got a friend in
like,
Australia, and he'll join me on Call of Duty, and it'll be like 10 o'clock in the morning my time, and 3 o'clock
It's just crazy.
at night for him. It's like, dude, what are you doing up at 3 o'clock in the morning?
It's
But
like
he
trying to
tells
keep
me
up with the world.
they get up early because the temperature difference, so he gets up about 4 or 5 anyway, and then he's done earlier.
As for the question in the wild, so the live stream from yesterday's Fivers event should be on the Fivers YouTube channel. Yeah. So just head over to the Fivers YouTube channel, and it will be there under the live recordings from yesterday. So
well worth a watch.
Fully available there
in the wild trades.
My plan is to my plan is to try and watch it in chunks. So I couldn't watch it all day yesterday. So my idea is to break it down into basically 6 episodes, and one episode an evening or something.
An hour a day,
and do it that way. An hour a day keeps the stop loss away.
Yeah, but don't watch Jonathan at 12 o'clock at night though, because you'll be up till 1 in the morning marking up charts.
Yeah, exactly.
Do it at a reasonable time of day.
And Henry says he stayed up till 1 o'clock at the end of the marathon. Crikey!
Hey, me too, Henry.
Goodness me. Yeah. But yeah, guys. I mean, I'm glad that you guys found it useful. You know, as I say, there was a lot of time and effort and energy put into that, and I think it's you know, I know from speaking to I speak to Rich and Victor and Jonathan and Alex pretty much every day throughout the day, and I know Rich and Victor in particular were really took it very, very seriously to make sure they provided the best possible content that they could. And you know, we all know that they are really good at what they do, and they've got super knowledge and insights to share. Interestingly, they still get nervous. You know, they still get butterflies in the stomach for these sorts of things. So I know that the positive feedback and the positive responses to the event will be definitely encouraging for them as well to keep producing the work and producing the content that they're producing. So
I think with these things, if you get nerves, because I'm very nervous when I used to join any Zooms in communities and stuff, I'd be shaking before, I wouldn't want to speak. Then as soon as the camera finishes, I'm a dribbling mess. So, but to me,
now look at you. You're practically a professional YouTuber, you know.
But you know what? I'm stubborn. So because I get like that, that's me saying, screw you, buddy. I'm going to do it more.
Yeah.
Until you get used to it.
Good for you.
Take control.
But you know what? That in a way, that attitude in itself is kind of what you need as a trader. You know, is when you hit the rough patches, when you hit the losing streaks, that determination and persistence and desire to keep going is what helps you get through those rough patches. I'm just going to quickly pull up my charts again because I just want to have a look at some of the other assets. So we've got the NAS, which has really sold off on the daily, as you can see here. We've come past. It should be, hopefully. Let us know if it's not, guys.
I'm keeping an eye on it.
After the YouTube, not the YouTube, the StreamYard gremlins. But we've smashed through that 200 EMA, and I was saying a couple of days ago how I think it was on Monday, in fact, or Friday, we'd already smashed past it, and you can see these two now pushing down as well. It feels as though the market has really lost a lot of confidence. And I mean, they've left liquidity levels down here, as you can see.
Time frame you on there, Mike?
That's on the daily. So there's all of this cluster of liquidity down on the NAS that just looks like,
it's a nice trend line level, maybe, on the daily.
Potentially.
Yeah. Going back to October 2023.
Let's have a look. Going back to October 20. Yeah, could be. Let's have a look. If we take it from there. Yes, it really depends. I mean, on the weekly,
See, I only trade the NAS on the 2-minute charts on the futures account, so I don't tend to look at the bigger picture on the NAS.
Yeah,
I'll be on the 2-minute futures, look for a daily sweep and a reversal, and enter those. Really.
If you look at all of this, this is all liquidity. I mean, some of this has been taken. As you can see here, there's stuff that's been taken here. Let me delete some of that because it was... So that's been taken, but there's still this trail that's left behind here. And it's not insignificant. You know, this is all big, high time frame stuff. You probably can't necessarily see it, but you know, you've got weekly, daily, you know, liquidity levels. You know, on here you've got a 2-day double bottom, which
I think it's going back to September 24 then.
I think it's going back to April 24. Look at this. Don't know, somebody tell me what happened in the middle of April 24 last year. But look at that. So we had a weekly double bottom where basically the lows are equal. So
see, that was a similar pullback. That April 2024 was a similar pullback from the October 23 on the trend, similar to what we're seeing now, but on a larger scale.
Yeah.
So it could just reverse at any point and go long again.
It could well do. Supposedly Trump was having a meeting with corporate America, but it just, I don't know. I feel it's coming further down to come back and test these areas as well. If you look at it, it's probably.
Did you look at the weekly? Did you the double candle pattern in September? A push down and then an equal high up.
Yeah, this one here. Yeah,
that one.
Yeah. So it's done that a few times. It's done it here. It's done it here, and it's done it here. The thing is that this one wasn't an equal low. Yes, there's liquidity there, but it's not an equal low. This one here is an equal low. So it's a double bottom. So those 2 weeks basically closed at what, 969.9, opened at 969.9, and then just shot up.
Yeah, all three of those
there was
did
no
the
wick
same
down.
thing, didn't it?
It kind of, but not entirely. This one is the only one that has done the instant push up. All the others,
most recent one, down,
even just a little bit.
It's this more like a train track pattern, that one, isn't it? Equal distance
that one's
down,
just gone straight up. So the NAS certainly looks like it's. I mean, it is well overextended. And you know, if we look at that, if I was to say, let's draw a fib off this move here.
Like on a daily.
Look at that. On a weekly chart, that's an Alex setup. Right now, it would have taken him from October 2022. October 2022 to February. So he would have had to hold it for a year and a half. 2.5 years. But that's why I think we've possibly run out of steam on this, and I think that's why we're pulling back. But you know, trade what we see, not what we think. You know,
exactly.
And what have you.
Exactly.
Bitcoin.
That's all I do with my charts. I go on and I just trade whatever the trend line I'm looking at. Exactly.
Wise move. Wise choice. Bitcoin. There's a lot of upset people in the Bitcoin and crypto market. LJ, good to see you, mate. Hope you're well.
Hi, okay.
Some very significant volatility we're getting. Bitcoin, I can see us probably coming back and retesting this area over the next day or two, but I still see us coming further down. I still see us coming down to the 70s and pushing further down. I think it's reacted off what here. That's not really any support. That's just a little slowdown in the move.
Not one I have on my watch list anymore.
So Bitcoin, I'm still bullish long term, but I think we're still going to see more bearish momentum before we see any significant pushes back up. My Memdex had a lovely day yesterday. So Memdex, I'm hoping is
going down.
finally
That would
gonna...
mean dollar strength normally. What it used to when I used to do it. I don't know if it does anymore.
Theoretically, it should.
Yeah. But dollar's dropping
is that
at the same time, so it makes sense. But then NAS is dropping as well. So.
The problem is that Bitcoin is risk on rather than risk off. So a lot of people are just getting out of crypto because they're just seeing the markets dump.
I got out a couple years ago. You know when they were saying it's going up to 100,000 on BTC Bitcoin, and I started getting in about 32, 34, and I traded it all the way up. It was so easy because it constantly was going up. I'd buy some crypto. If it dropped, I held it till it went back up past my level and sold it. And if it went up from where I bought it, I sold it. You literally couldn't lose. You just bought it because it's not like it's intraday. We got jump alert.
I don't know. Jonathan's just sent this to me. I don't know if you guys can see that. Hang on. Literally just had this sent to me. See if
it's on the live stream. Hold on. It's not on the live stream.
It's a Trump alert for the live trading room. So that's
there you go. Now it's on.
That's what we're going to be using. So there we go. You can look forward to that on the live stream later on today on the Fivers. Let's have a look. One thing we haven't looked at today is gold. I know you mentioned it as potential sells. Let's just take it back to the weekly.
Did it make it to my watch list?
Have you got it on your watch list?
Oh no, it was on the daily one, wasn't it? On the swing setup, that was.
I've got a whole bunch of drawings I need to tidy up on here. But gold at the moment, it's not very clear, I would say, because what's happened is last week we had levels created on either side of it. So we had an inside bar here and here, and I think this is partly due to what's going on with Ukraine. There's general kind of uncertainty as to which way it's going to go.
There's a lot of nice space to the left, though. It's left plenty of space to the left, so not much resistance if it does drop.
No, and I agree with you. I think just looking at it on the daily, if you look at it, it's kind of just chopped.
Look
it
at the
hasn't
space
really
to the left
made
there.
anything considering.
Nice big space to the left.
There is certainly room for it to go higher, and I think that's possibly what we're going to see.
It can back up to that level you've got there. But you see, again, gold is normally the opposite of the dollar. Normally, say in normal times. So a strong dollar, gold drops. A weak dollar, gold pumps. And we've been seeing
the thing is if we see gold strengthening, then we are more likely to see Bitcoin weakening as well, because it would be risk off.
You see gold strengthening or weakening, sorry.
So if you see gold strengthening, that's risk off, and therefore you'd see Bitcoin and crypto going down. So
you should see dollar dropping then if gold strengthens as well, which would mean even more longs on EU and GU for everyone. It just doesn't stop.
It's I mean, if you look at it on some of these time frames, it does look very, very rangy at the moment. I mean, we've come up, we've taken, made these all-time highs, but we're now just stuck in this range since, well, if we take it from here, this was our start of the range from the end of February, and we're just now sitting in the middle of it.
Until it breaks one of those two levels.
Yeah, until it breaks one of these two. I mean, it doesn't look clear to me which way it wants to go. The weekly, this area here for me acts as strong resistance because it was a big bearish engulfing candle. So that's why I've got this zone marked out here for potential reactions. But actually, when I drill it down to other time frames, there's not really anything to see as a potential reaction zone. On the 12-hour, there isn't anything here that I would normally mark out and say, yes, that's somewhere where price could react from.
Just having a look at my T-Trade. I have set a pending on gold just to keep an eye on it, on that break at that low level on my C-Trader account.
Yeah. I mean, the 2-day and the weekly, potentially the 4-day as well, this wick. The 11-day, I mean, we're already in that wick, but it's just there's nothing here really. I mean, you could argue that there's this area here on the 9-hour. It's also
I think
on
you're
the
right
8
to wait really on this one for now, unless you're intraday
7-hour. Yeah, I mean, we are still hovering above the EMAs here, right? We're still way above the 200, and this is where I feel as though we're probably going to get a bit more of a pump. If I was going to make a call on it, I would say we're looking at something like this.
What time frame are you on now?
That's on the 7-hour.
7-hour. Remember to keep track of your time frames.
Yeah, sorry. The 5-hour as well. The 5-hour as well. We've got one here. So it does feel as though it might just tap into this area here. You can see we've got this engulfing candle here before price really shot down. We're creating engulfings to the upside now. We're pushing off the EMAs. So, and this takes us in nicely. So we might even see it today with the CPI news, with price coming up, taking this weekly inside candle, and then we'll see some bearish momentum come down. But there's no clear structure right now to say,
this
is
just in a big range on the H1 chart.
Yeah, it is. It's a massive range
since start of March.
Yeah,
which is fine if you trade the range. You've got the tops and bottoms to bounce between, like a ping pong ball.
Yeah,
bing, bing, bing.
Exactly. I mean, if you look at it, I was marking it. Somebody was asking yesterday in Alphabet Lab about Daniel's contraction zones. So I was explaining what the contraction zones are. So Daniel's contraction zones are defined by a mother candle or a master candle here in the middle, and then the bodies of the candles either side of it sit within that master body. Doesn't matter about the wicks, but it's the bodies that sit in there. So let's see if we can find another example. So we've got another example here.
I could program an indicator on TradingView to highlight all them.
Oh, he's already got one. He's already got one. But if you look at it, so he's got one here. You've got one here as well. You've got contraction. You've got one here as well. And what's interesting is if you look at where these contractions have been hitting, you've got 1, 2, 3. They're all in the same area. So these are concentrations of orders and concentrations of price contracting and then moving
time
off.
Frame or
4 hour.
4 hour.
4 hour time frame. Yeah. So yeah, that's for those who are interested. That's how Daniel looks at contractions. You've got another one down here.
Tuesday, 4th of March was one by the looks of it.
Yeah. So you've got another one here as well. So, and generally what he's looking at is he's looking at when he's looking at a contraction, he's looking for it to be broken. So what he would do, it's a very quick example.
20th of February. Finding myself going for my chart looking for him now. What's he doing?
If you see one here, so if you see one here, for example, right? Yeah. So what he would do is he would then say, right, this magic candle, as he would describe it, I would call it an engulfing. What he would do is he would say, right, okay, I'm going to set a trade on a long at the close of that 4 hour, because it's the reason for it is that you've got a magic candle that's basically dipped in and broken out, right, and it's practically taken the 50% level. He would have his stop loss down here below the contraction. Actually, no, I think he might have his stop loss below that magic candle. Then what he would do is he would wait to be tagged in. So price would come down on that 4 hour and tag him in. And then he would simply take, this area. So hang on. He would take this area, and what he would do is he would basically go, right, okay, that's one standard deviation, right? So what he would do is take it from his entry, and he would say, right, that's one standard deviation of the contraction. And then what he would do is he would basically take profits at every standard deviation. So he'd have 1 and have 2. So you'd have a 2R there at least, right?
And then I think off on each one.
Yeah, so he'd maybe take 50% off on that first one. So take 50% off there. Then he would take say maybe 10% off at this take profit, and then probably by then he would have set it to break even. So this one would then, he would have a 0.6 R, let's say, in total, right? The other way he would look at it is he would look for, if we find a different example, he would look for, just trying to find one. Where have we got one? We've got one here.
We need to get Daniel on the show.
Yeah, we've got this contraction
Daniel?
here. Sweden, yeah.
Sweden, yeah.
So you can see this contraction here is a very small one, right? Now this one hasn't actually, the contraction itself wasn't taken out by a magic candle, as in an engulfing candle, right? But what happened was price came down, okay, and sweep the lows of it, okay, and it came back down. Then what happened was you then had a magic candle here that took the other side of the contraction, right? So up until, if I do a replay to this point here, right?
That's a bit like an inverse fair value gap break, if that was a fair value gap.
Yeah. So what he's saying is that if we watch this price action go out, it's already taken the low of it. So then what he'd be looking at is for price to come up and see how it takes the high of that contraction, right? So it's then, if I go forwards, right, we've then got this magic candle here, right? So that magic candle has taken that entirety of that contraction area and closed above it. So then his entry would be something like
above that candle. And
don't quote me on this, but basically it would be closer there, it would be below that magic candle, and again it would be he would leave it, essentially he would leave it running. And what he would do is he would take probably his standard deviation, I think, would be the magic candle. I don't think he would take, because this one's quite a small contraction.
Yeah.
So if we said his standard deviation was there, actually I've got a fib indicator that does this for me. So he would take it from there to there, and then these would be his take profit levels. So he would take profit there 50%, then 10%, 10%, 10%, 10%, 10%, and he would leave 10% running. So if you imagine he did that,
I like it. It's good. That's just what I need. Yet another setup.
So if you look at that, I mean, if he'd taken, it would have closed 90% of his position there, and the rest of it would still be running.
Do you look for trending markets only, or does he do it in ranges as well, or doesn't?
He looks for contraction, expansion, and trends. So he looks for the contraction, he looks for it to expand out, and then he follows the trend. So I mean that one back there in January, I think this is one of the ones that he actually took. That one, I think he actually left it running until somewhere around here.
I close all my trades by about 6 o'clock in the evening if they're still running.
So this one he left, so he would have had 10% of this position still running, and he would have still had it running up until here.
Could you do that, Mike? You keep trades open that long?
No chance. No chance.
I do want to try it. I'd love to get stage 10 o'clock each night. I set a trade, and that's it.
That's the rough idea of how he does it, and he just lets them run. So he just take profits at every level, moves to break even, and off you go. So depending on what the markets is doing, I mean, on this one, he could have been taken out if he'd moved his positions to break even after his second take profit level. He would have then been taken out at break even for the rest of the position. So sometimes he'll leave them running, or bring his stop loss up, maybe bring it up to the low of the contraction, for example, and that would have still left him in. But yeah, I mean, he's shared tons and tons of insights, details on how he does this.
We should probably say, anyone who doesn't know Daniel, get over to ABL. There's hundreds of videos on there for him.
He has really been epic in terms of what he's been building and what he's been sharing. So he was with us earlier, but I don't know if he's still with us. Daniel, you still with us? We're talking about you, so you know, hopefully I've done you justice there, Daniel.
He's disgusted. He's left.
He's appalled at how I've described his approach.
He butchered his trade setup.
Exactly. That's not what I do.
That's it. I'm leaving.
Exactly. Anyway, that is pretty much it from us for today, guys. Thank you very much for joining. As always, a pleasure to have you with us. Make sure you jump into Alpha Beta Lab. We've got a ton of new members who have joined us since yesterday's event, which is great to see. So
we'll be there, won't we?
Make sure you get in there. We are cooking up some new ideas as well with Alex to just offer some rewards and some incentives furthermore for all the new members and our existing members to feel
get up in those leaderboards.
Exactly. So we're cooking
up
a few ideas.
I think at the moment, so you need to kick me off second place. Get posting.
Exactly. So we're maybe looking at doing some weekly leaderboards as well. So we'll keep you posted on that. But yeah, we'll be back tomorrow, same time, same place, 9 o'clock tomorrow morning, CET, GMT, 8 o'clock. Alex should be back with me for the Alpha Market Pulse. I will be back on the Fivers live stream at 11:30 GMT later today as well. So hopefully I'll see you guys there. If I don't, have a good day trading, and we will see you tomorrow. Cheers, guys.
See you guys. Bye-bye.